Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Greetings of peace, mercy, and blessings be upon all of you. Welcome back to another session of Miracles of Hope. I'm your brother Matib Ahmed. Please click a like, and hopefully this will help the YouTube algorithm so that more people will be benefited, inshallah, God willing, by these videos. Today, I want to speak to you about two types of verses. In two types of verses. The first one is a verse that strikes fear in the heart of a believer, and the second verse is a verse that strikes or gives the heart hope in God's mercy. As for the first verse, it is in Surah Al-Imran, and both verses will be from Surah Al-Imran, which is the third chapter of the Quran. God says in this verse, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا لَا تَأْكُلُوا الرِّبَا أَضْعَافًا مُضَاعَفَةً واتقوا الله لعلكم تفلحون واتقوا النار التي أعدت للكافرين. God says, O you who have believed, do not take interest in any compounding way. There's a lot of discussion about what that means. However, there's a general agreement or consensus that any type of interest is haram because all types of interest allow the principle to compound without any just means. You're basically taking away money from people, and there's a large discussion that we can get into. That's not the point of this video. Then God says, "Wattaqullah," and have God consciousness, or be conscious of God, so that you may have mercy be done to you, so that mercy may be done to you, or that you may have mercy upon, have had mercy upon. And then God says, "Wattaqun nar," and be fearful or be conscious of the fire. Allati, which has been u'iddat lil kafirin, has been prepared for the disbelievers. God is here. He addressed the believers in the first verse. He says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O you who have believed. So God is speaking not to disbelievers, despite the fact that the general message of the Quran is for all of humanity. But here he is speaking exclusively to the believers. And he says to the believers, don't do this, have God consciousness, and be aware of the fire. And the purpose of this fire is that it has been created and prepared for those people who don't even believe in me in the first place. They reject me, or they reject the messenger, or they reject the message itself. God is saying to the believers that if you were to enter into this fire, if you were to enter into the fire, you will be equated as being a disbeliever your whole entire life. وَاتَّقُوا النَّارَ الَّتِي أُعِدَّتْ لِلْكَافِرِينَ. This verse strikes a lot of fear in the heart of the believer. And Imam Abu Hanifa, he is, God be pleased with him and have mercy upon him, he was one of the great scholars of Islam. In fact, he has a whole school of thought that he is founded upon his understanding and methodology that the vast majority of Sunni Muslims follow. So he says that this verse is the one verse that strikes the most fear in the heart of the believer. So when one recites this, it truly shakes them. As for with fear comes hope as well. These are two wings of a bird that help propel the body forward into action. So the verses of hope are the next verses, and I won't go through all of them. I just want to talk about one particular part of those selection of verses, and that is the part where God says, وَمَنْ يَغْفِرُ الذُّنُوبَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. God is talking about the muttaqeen. He is talking here about those people who are God conscious, and he gives many sifat or characteristics of the believers, of these people who are God conscious. And he says that one of the things that they do is that they are not perfect. They fall short, and they fall into sin. However, their sinning is not like anybody else's sinning. When they sin, they have a fallout, not just with God, with anybody. When they fall short of their responsibilities, they try their best to make amends, and they try their best to assure that they never fall short again. وَلَمْ يُصِرُّوا عَلَى مَا فَعَلُوا وَهُمْ يَعْلَمُونَ. The key point here is that the muttaqeen, the people who are God conscious, and we know that there's many verses that speak about muttaqeen, or those people who are God conscious, and one of them is that they get to obtain Jannah. However, the fact that they obtained Jannah did not mean that they were perfect. They were never perfect. They fell short, and they fell short many times. And every single time, the only key to their success was that every time they fell short, they were reminded of God. ذكروا When they reminded themselves of God, فَاسْتَغْفَرُوا لِذُنُوبِهِمْ They simply asked God for forgiveness. They asked God, oh God, I did a sin. You didn't like this. I won't do this again. I'll try my best not to fall short again in my commitment to the faith. I try my best again to assure that I will stay away from those causes or those lures that allure me into those sins. And they will try their best not to do that. And every time they fall short, God says that if you fall short and you seek forgiveness, I will forgive you. Every time you keep doing this, I will keep forgiving you. The point is that these people were sincere. They weren't people who just gave up. They recognized that, hey, I am still alive. I am still breathing. I still have breath. God is giving me a chance every single day. Every single time I wake up, every single second. Every single thing that is out there is going to be reminding me of God, and that is my key to my success. I will be reminded of God. I will be God conscious. And anytime I fall short, I will be reminding myself of God and seeking and begging for His forgiveness. It doesn't have to necessarily be on my tongue. I don't have to say astaghfirullah all day, all night. It can be a simple action of the heart, an emotion that you have within yourself that, oh God, I'm sinning. God, just simply forgive me. Ya Allah, forgive me. Yes, you must say it with your action, with your tongue. I'm not saying that you should not say it with your tongue. You should say it with your tongue. However, the importance is not given to the tongue because that is just paying lip service to God. The importance is the soul that must be present within the actions or the words that you are saying. And that is what I called the actions of the heart, the emotions and the psychological and emotional state that must be present as we engage in worship. And one of this particular one is that we must have hope in God's mercy. So God says in this verse, وَمَنْ يَغْفِرُ الذُّنُوبَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ Man بِمَعْنَى لَا. Man, this verse means who forgives sins other than God. Man means who. In other words, this is a rhetorical device saying nobody forgives sins besides God. Nobody can forgive the atrocities and sins and disobediences and evil acts and immoral deeds that one can possibly ever commit other than God. And, we're reminded of the hadith of the man, the prophetic narration of the man who killed 99 people and then he killed 100 people after that, once he was told there's no forgiveness for him. And then once he went to the 100th and first person, he said, yes, there is forgiveness for you. You just have to change your environment and go to some other place. And while he was on his way, he was on his sincere journey of faith, and he was forgiven. He died, and the angels of wrath came to him, and they wanted to punish him. And the angels of mercy came, and they said, no, he was on his journey for faith, and he just simply took one extra step closer to the environment that he was wishing to be a part of, and God forgave him. That's all it takes. It is that sincerity and those actions, those steps that you take. وَمَنْ يَغْفِرُ الذُّنُوبَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ Who can forgive these immoral deeds and sins and these evil actions and whatnot other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I hope this message is beneficial to all of you. I'm sorry for extending this. I hope I don't bore you. If you made it this long, then definitely please share it because I know it benefited you. And Jazakumullah khairan, may Allah reward you and keep you steadfast in your journey of faith, and may God keep you on the balance between hope and fear. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين من كل ذنب سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.